This week, I'm doing a number of presentations. One is on empathy and compassion, and how do we bring that into the workplace? And so I've come to realize that empathy is something that we can learn. And there are two main forms of empathy. And as we start to pull this apart and understand it better, we'll talk about it differently. But for today, this is the way that I see it, that empathy has an affective component. And that's essentially you feel what other people are feeling. And I'm that type of person. I feel what my people feel. And I've been moving through that, trying to understand why I'm doing that and if it's gone too far. Because, like, when my kids go through any type of procedure, I pass out. Yeah, I have to wear a helmet. Yeah. So that's me feeling intensely what other people are feeling. And so it's good to understand that, because sometimes when we're feeling what other people are feeling, we're not our best selves. You know, don't run down the driveway. I told you not to run down the right. So that reaction isn't necessarily one that has what we would think is empathy and compassion, but we're really feeling what that other person is feeling. So there's affective, and then there's, and affective is closely correlated with burnout. Can you imagine a nurse who really feels what their patients are going through because maybe their experience or that maybe their load is so high that they're feeling all of these intense feelings? Can you see how that could happen? And then there's cognitive empathy, and that's the skill set that we can really practice, where we help people feel seen and heard. Because empathy essentially is feeling with people, it's taking their perspective, it's really being human with the humans around us. And we could do that in workplaces. And sometimes in workplaces, we have a different structure and we feel like we can't be our whole selves, even if it's messy and on a healing journey and not there yet. Workplaces that allow for empathy to be present and accepted and understood can allow for some of this human messiness, which increases productivity, creativity. Oh, you get it. Care for each other, support. Yeah, all of that. And then compassion, one of the definitions that I was looking at that I really liked is, because it's an equation, I like equations, is that compassion is empathy plus the desire to help. So I was chatting with my husband on our dog walk this morning. Yeah, okay, so I showered and walked the dog, and I've had coffee. Not breakfast yet. I'll get there. I'm going to a breakfast, an in-person meeting breakfast, which is why I showered. Compassion. Compassion is empathy plus the desire to help. And so we were talking about, this idea of, raising children. And when we want them to go through hard stuff to come out the other side, we have empathy for them and compassion. We're helping them, but it may not look like empathy and compassion in those moments. It's sort of, we want them to go through that hard thing, and we want them to know that we're there for them. And so there's some different scenarios that we could pull apart to see whether empathy or compassion is present. Hey, if you're going for dog walks with people that you care about, your peeps, have conversations around where empathy shows up, where compassion shows up, what you feel in terms of how you want to help each other, and what does help look like. So that's a big mashup of the empathy and compassion. The rest of the week, I'm going to try and do other videos that maybe focus on the skill set of empathy, compassion, and kindness. And if you've heard me chat about this stuff, one of the things that I'm a firm believer in is that we have to start with taking care of ourselves. If we're dysregulated and we're quick to react and not respond, we're not going to be able to implement these skills to the best of our ability in those moments. So start with you, take care of you, and then start to work through some of these really cool concepts, because you deserve care. We all do. I'm really glad that you are here. I'm going to go off now to a breakfast meeting. I'm kind of getting sweaty now. Breakfast meeting. Take care of you.